with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
Right now from you guys, okay? Let us, the real Persians who deserve freedom and happiness, let us have that. But I do want to pray for the people of Israel and Qatar and everybody who's, risked their own back in this fight. You can call me whatever you want. I know you guys are going to call me Zionist, propagandist, whatever is $7,000. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I believe. I will tell you what the one thing I do believe. I believe in people and I believe in loving people until they give you a reason not to. And as of right now, even though I'm not a big fan of Bibi, I got a lot of problems with Bibi. God bless the Jewish people, Qatari people, people of the Middle East, the Iranian people. Keep fighting. We need Reza Pahlavi to come take over the country and bring democracy and freedom. Javi Shah.
Salam sejahtera bagi kita saudara yang terkasih dalam Kristus Yesus. Berjumpa lagi dengan saya di channel Penabur Benih. Di kesempatan kali ini kita akan mendengarkan bagaimana seorang yang luar biasa yang memperjuangkan martabat seorang wanita di Iran, mantan politisi Kanada, muncul sebagai pendukung utama revolusi baru Iran. Dari Kanada, Goldi Gamari, warga kelahiran Iran, mengamati peristiwa tersebut dengan seksama. Ia baru berusia 1 tahun ketika keluarganya mengungsi ke Kanada pada tahun 1986. Alasannya, jutaan warga Iran telah turun ke jalan sejak 28 Desember dalam pemberontakan yang belum pernah terjadi sebelumnya dan meluas terhadap rezim Republik Islam. Dari Kanada, Goldi Gamari, warga asli Iran ini, mengamati peristiwa tersebut dengan seksama dan ia menyampaikan apa yang menjadi keluhannya. Dia juga adalah mantan anggota parlemen Partai Konservatif yang dikeluarkan dari fraksi oleh Perdana Menteri Ford pada tahun 2024 karena apa yang digambarkan Ford sebagai kesalahan penilaian yang serius dan tidak mencalonkan diri lagi. Kini menjadi pembawa acara podcast dalam siaran langsung harian. Ia menjelaskan bahwa kita tahu bahwa Republik Islam begitu kejam terhadap rakyatnya sendiri di berbagai. Mereka telah menindas dia adalah kita selama 47 tahun Reza Pahlavi, dan kita tahu bahwa semakin mendekati akhir Republik telah mendorong proses serta berharap makin kejam dan brutal. Gamari lepas dari semua ini di acara Glenn lebih bertekad serta bersama ada sebelumnya untuk menggulingkan Republik Islam. Ia benar-benar perkiraan bervariasi, tetapi ratusan demonstran telah tewas. Jadi kita sekarang berada di tengah revolusi 200 dan perjuangan berwenang berakhir berwenang di Iran masih memiliki berlaku panjang yang harus pemadaman internet. Tapi rakyat Iran telah dimobilisasi. Mereka bertekad. Kita melihat jutaan warga Iran turun ke jalan meneriakan matilah diktator, matilah Republik Indonesia. Mereka juga meneriakan ini adalah pertempuran terakhir. Pahlavi akan kembali. Pahlavi tentu saja adalah yang mulia putra mahkota Iran. Karena itu mari kita menyimak video selanjutnya bagaimana ia mengucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada Amerika dan juga Israel di mana mereka sudah menewaskan Ali Khamenei dari awal sampai akhir sehingga menjadi berkat bagi kita semua.
With a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America. Iranian here with a message for everyone in Israel and the IDF. Thank you for not forgetting about the historic friendship that we Iranians and Israelis have had for thousands of years, going back to Cyrus the Great. Thank you for helping to liberate us. Thank you. Thank you for staying in your bomb shelters and risking your lives and safety. We can't wait to welcome you back to Iran with open arms. And together we will dance again in the streets of Tehran. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom, and Amin here with another pro tip for anyone who's not from the Middle East. In order to understand why Iranians are fighting against the Islamic Republic and want their Shah to return, there are 3 facts that you just have to accept. Number 1, Iran is not a Muslim country, and prior to 1979, we were a modern, secular, westernizing nation. Number 2, the 1979 Islamic Revolution, or as I like to call it, the Islamic coup d'etat, was not an organic movement. It was orchestrated by communists and Islamists, and it was funded and supported by Western nations. And number 3, the Shah of Iran was not a dictator. In fact, the Shah of Iran was protecting Iranians from Islamists and communists. Unfortunately, everyone in the West has just dealt with the historical revisionism that's been put out there by communists and Islamists to justify taking over Iran in 1979 and turn it into an Islamic hellhole governed by Sharia law. So if you're wondering why Iranians are taking to the streets and protesting against Islam, wanting to overthrow the Islamic Republic, and calling for the return of the Shah, the current king in exile, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. That's because everything you think you know about Iran and everything the Western media, communists, leftists, and Islamists have told you about Iran is a lie. And now you know.
You know, Madam Speaker, when my parents immigrated to Canada in 1986, I was a year old. And the reason that they immigrated to Canada from Iran is because in 1979, there was an Islamic revolution, and our once free and democratic country was taken over by radical Islamists, was taken over by terrorists, and was taken over by fascists who actually executed over 40,000 communists in the late 80s. And so my parents escaped in 1986 because they wanted to live in a free democratic society. And I was a year old at the time. And we were blessed to be able to come to Canada to escape that hatred, to escape that radical fundamentalist Islamo-fascist ideology. And that's the same regime, Madam Speaker, that denies the Holocaust. That's the same regime that spreads anti-Semitic information and propaganda, not just inside the Islamic regime of Iran, but around the world and through its proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah and others. And so when we came to Canada, my parents raised myself and my younger sister, always telling us how blessed we are to be Canadian. And we should always put Canada first. Never forget your heritage, never forget your culture, never forget your background, but always remember that you are first and foremost a proud Canadian. And what that means, Madam Speaker, is you come here to embrace culture and diversity and accept people for who they are, and you leave the problems of your home country behind. Now, it doesn't mean you can't speak up, Madam Speaker. It doesn't mean you can't attend rallies and protests. I do it all the time in support of the people of Iran who are fighting for freedom and democracy against the brutal and terrorist Islamic regime in Iran. But what I don't do, Madam Speaker, I don't go to protests calling for genocide. I don't attend protests where I say from the river to the sea, and I can't even finish that sentence because it is abhorrent and vile. And to anyone who says these are peace rallies, It's appalling that I have to put this in Hansard, but it needs to be done so that the world will always remember what these hate rallies were about. This is a message from the Palestinian youth movement. One day after the horrific October 7th genocidal massacre of 1,400 innocent Jewish people. And it says, Toronto, all out for Palestine. Join us Monday, October 9th at 2 p.m. An unprecedented series of events has taken place by our heroic resistance in Gaza, with over 30 Zionist hostages captured, the fall of settlements surrounding Gaza, and the prison break that destroyed the fence that has been entrapping Gazans for over 17 years. The resistance's offensive attack has shaped a new precedent for our national liberation struggle, and we remain steadfast in our right to resist by any means necessary. We call on our people in the far diaspora in Toronto to uplift and honor our resistance and our martyrs. Join us this Monday, October 9, at 2 p.m. at Nathan Phillips Square and celebrate our steps closer to liberation. Shameful.
Shame.
I was in Toronto on Monday because Monday was Thanksgiving. And I was walking my dog. And I happened to come across this pro-Hamas celebration, this pro-Hamas rally. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever felt uncomfortable as a Canadian. The hate, the anger, the way they were marching, the chants they were making. That's something you see in the Islamic regime in Iran. You do not see that in Canada. That's the kind of behavior you see in radical fundamentalist countries, not in Canada. That is not the Canada that my parents immigrated to. That is not the Canada that we were raised in. That hate does not belong in Canada. What was even more shocking to me, and I didn't realize this until a few days later, what was even more shocking to me is that the member from Hamilton Centre marched in that parade, participated in that very same parade, rally, celebration, whatever you want to call it, the pro-Hamas rally that supported the genocide. The member from Hamilton Centre marched in that. She can try to explain away her statement. She can try to say whatever it is she wants to say, but silence is louder than words. Even prior to this, when I had the unfortunate opportunity of having to hear her voice in this legislature again, she spread misinformation. She accused the state of Israel of bombing a hospital, even though it was debunked right away. It was the Palestinian Jihad Organization, and Hamas was using it to spread propaganda to fuel more hate rallies around the world. She also failed to mention anything about the 1,400 innocent civilians. She failed to mention that the Hamas terrorists must release the hostages. You cannot negotiate with terrorists, Madam Speaker. You cannot. As someone who comes from a country that is ruled by Islamic regime terrorists, we know you cannot negotiate with them. They have no problem killing people. There's someone who's named Mossab Hassan Youssef, and I encourage everyone to look him up. Mossab Hassan Youssef is the son of a Hamas leader. He defected. He knows what happens on the inside, and he has some fascinating interviews. He's even wrote a book called Son of Hamas. And in that book, he writes, and in his interviews, he writes, Hamas does not care if you are Israeli or Palestinian, Arab, Jew, Bedouin. They do not care. They will execute everyone. They do not care about the people. They use Palestinians as human shields. And he said every few years, what the Palestinian Authority does, the Palestinian leadership, they will just create a war because they know what's going to happen is Israel will retaliate, and then the world will be outraged, and then they will get money through donations. That's what he said. This is someone who was born and raised in Hamas, and he defected. Another thing that was very shocking for me, and I can't fail, I have to mention this. The hate and the violence at these pro-Hamas rallies is getting worse. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday or possibly the day before, Cafe Landwehr in Toronto was surrounded by pro-Hamas supporters at the rally, and they all started chanting, boycott the Zionist cafe. Madam Speaker, what does a Jewish-owned cafe in Toronto have to do with the conflict in Israel and Palestine? We are being faced with full-on hatred, full-on anti-Semitism. This is not 1933. This is 2023. And what's horrifying is that in 1933, Cafe Landwehr fled Berlin because of the anti-Semitism they were experiencing then, and now 90 years later, they're experiencing it once again in Ontario, in Canada, and it is horrifying. And this is what the member from Hamilton Centre supports. This is exactly what she supports. We all, our hearts bleed for all of the innocent lives lost, including Palestinians. But if you cannot call out terrorism, if you cannot have the moral clarity to understand that the root cause of this is terrorism that's funded by the terrorist and illegitimate Islamic regime in Iran, if you are out there spreading a message of divisiveness instead of caring for people, then you should not be in this legislature. Hear, hear. Thank you.
So things are getting pretty bad in the Middle East. A lot of missiles going around. Now, the funniest thing is this. Iran, the very few, like 10, 20,000 regime members left, which is very small compared to millions before a few days ago, have appointed a new Ayatollah dictator. And guess what? We killed him like 10 minutes later. If you know Iranians, guys, a little bit inside joke, we have a Persian pride. Like, we don't take losing well, you know? We have to win. And then when we lose, we still have to act like the biggest guy in the room. That's kind of like what's happening right now. Like, the regime, it's like they just snorted a bunch of Persian pride, and they're like, okay, yeah, we got fucked. So we're gonna send missiles everywhere. All of you, everywhere, all of you get missiles, because we're still the biggest superpower of the Middle East. And they're not. And it just looks stupid. And it's like, dude, like, I feel bad for the Jewish people that are all having to hide underground the bunkers, all the people in Qatar, like, air travel's shut down. Like, dude, Iran, let's take today and put the Persian pride away, okay? We don't need the Persian pride right now from you guys, okay? Let us, the real Persians who deserve freedom and happiness, let us have that. But I do want to pray for the people of Israel and Qatar and everybody who's, you know, risked their own back in this fight. You can call me whatever you want. I know you guys are going to call me Zionist, propagandist, whatever is $7,000. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I believe. I will tell you what the one thing I do believe. I believe in people, and I believe in loving people until they give you a reason not to. And as of right now, even though I'm not a big fan of Bibi, I got a lot of problems with Bibi. God bless the Jewish people, Qatari people, people of the Middle East, the Iranian people. Keep fighting. We need Reza Pahlavi to come take over the country and bring democracy and freedom. Javid Shah and America first, guys. Let's keep fighting. Ayatollah Khamenei has officially been killed by the US in assistance with Israel. Thank you, President Trump. I've believed in you from the start. I had the faith. I knew you could do it. I've got some beef with Netanyahu, but I do appreciate their assistance in this operation. I was raised to believe that it is indecent for a man to celebrate another man's death, no matter how evil. So I shall not celebrate Khamenei's death for now. His name shall never be spoken of again. He is history. He is gone. But I'm at a loss for words, because guess what, guys? Never in my lifetime did I think I'd see a free Iran, even with all the fighting. And now, I get to take my paralyzed father home, to his true home. The home he recognizes before those terrorist fucking monsters took over. My family there will be free. They can live their lives. For a man who's struggled to believe in God his whole life. Thank you, God. Thank you, all of you who have supported us. Without you, this would have never been possible. It was your views, your shares, your comments. God bless all of you. I love you all. Thank you. In my lifetime, I get to see a free Iran. I get to take my dad back home to his home. We going back home, Dad. Reza Pahlavi, the Crown Prince of Iran. He is the man to take over. He has a 100-day plan to institute a constitution, to democratically elect a form of government. He doesn't want to be an absolute monarch. He wants to be a constitutional monarch. He doesn't even want to be a monarch. If they vote for him to be a monarch, he will only do it as a constitutional monarch to protect the rights, because the constitution will be rights-based. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of everything, women's rights, gay rights, minority rights, all the beautiful rights. Reza Pahlavi is the man to lead Iran. We need him. We need him now. Ayatollah's history. Let's move forward. Iran is free, baby. This is what we work for.
Maka Amerika
I love you all.
akan
Thank you.
merespon dan Amerika siap siaga. Akhirnya Khamenei ditumbangkan. Aspek lainnya adalah pembelotan militer. Jadi kita sudah mulai melihat pembelotan militer terus berlanjut, dan itu harus terus berlanjut. Bagaimana pengaruh Israel terhadap situasi yang terjadi di Iran saat ini? Satu-satunya adalah mengapa rakyat Iran sekarang memiliki peluang untuk melawan kediktatoran Islam adalah karena apa yang dilakukan Israel pada musim panas lalu selama konflik 12 hari terakhir. Dalam upaya bersama dengan AS yang membom instalasi militer dan pabrik nuklir, mereka sangat melemahkan rezim Islam. Dan itulah alasan utama mengapa rakyat Iran begitu sukses saat ini dan terus melawan. Seberapa besar berkaitan dengan protes tersebut dan ekonomi? Protes tersebut dipicu oleh kemerosotan ekonomi, itu benar. 28 Desember jatuhnya nilai rial yang memicu pada pedagang di Teheran untuk melakukan pemogokan. Namun dalam waktu 2 jam, hal itu menyebar dengan cepat, tidak hanya di sekitar Teheran, tetapi juga menyebar ke seluruh negeri. Kemerosotan ekonomi adalah pemicu terakhir yang membuat keadaan semakin memburuk. Ini tentang penindasan total dan menyeluruh terhadap rakyat Iran selama 47 tahun dipimpin oleh Khamenei. Ini tentang kenyataan bahwa rakyat Iran tidak menginginkan hukum syariah itu berlaku bagi mereka. Ini tentang kenyataan bahwa tidak ada air, tidak ada listrik. Ini tentang kenyataan bahwa rakyat sudah muak dengan kediktatoran Islam ini. Makanya mereka menyebut dia adalah pemimpin diktator. Mengapa Anda percaya ini adalah titik tanpa kembali? Karena Republik Islam Iran belum pernah selemah ini. dan warga Iran juga menunjukkan nama dan wajah mereka di depan umum. Itu yang merupakan pengkhianatan. Alasan mereka mengatakan sekarang atau tidak sama sekali adalah karena situasinya sangat buruk dan mereka telah mempertaruhkan segalanya. Kita tidak akan pernah memicu kesempatan lain seperti ini untuk membebaskan Iran dari rezim di mana Anda tahu semua bintang tampak telah sejajar. Terima kasih kepada Israel, terima kasih kepada Presiden Amerika Serikat yang berdiri di pihak rakyat Iran.